Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Kerbal Space Program. We still have our contract to get the station up around the moon. Right now we have a core in orbit that has an antenna, docking port, can generate power. Doesn't have facility for 7 Kerbals just yet. It does have a Vion cupola. It doesn't have 2 scientists on board yet. We'll be sending those up today. We also have a mission to fly by Duna. We'll do that at some point. Science data from the surface of the moon, Minmus, space around Kerbin, planting flags and all that. I might go ahead and take this mission at some point and do that. It's gonna be like 500,000 funds. And I'm also going to take this one. It is testing a structural pylon landing at Minmus. We are going to go back to Minmus at some point, so might as well shoehorn that in on the way. And it's going to be 360 grand. But we are capped right now on our contracts, so we are going to upgrade the mission control. There we go. Take that mission. Take that mission, and we've basically got the money back for upgrading. New station around the moon. Facilities for 9 Kerbals. We can. You know what? Let's just do it. It's gonna take 14 years. We'll do it at some point. We'll probably do this at some point as well. But first, let's get to the meat of the episode. I've been doing some work off camera, and here we go. This. Everything above the decoupler here. This weird looking module, which I will explain momentarily. A science lab and a service bay of 2.5 meters, designed to carry a little bit of science that we can then process in orbit in the lab. What's this container, you might ask, and why is this rocket 161,000 funds? Well, first of all, the stage is expensive. Second of all, this is the Kerbal Inventory System ILC-18K container. We have 50 portable struts in here, 20 connector ports, 10 XL photovoltaic panels, some ground pylons, some photovoltaic panels that can extend and collapse, rover parts, a lot of rover parts, some ground bases, a couple of rechargeable batteries, some EVA fuel canisters, just in case some ships want to resupply or anything like that, electric screwdrivers to manually attach or detach parts to our vehicle, 100 tacos, 100 units of beer, a guitar, a ghetto blaster, and some containers so that we can literally slap any of these parts onto a ship that happens to dock with us. Yeah, and let's take out these portable struts for a second. They cost quite a lot. Okay, you're gonna go back. You need to drag it on there like that, and then we can increase the quantity again. There we go. And you can see we are using 17,456 units of our 18,000 volume in total. This part weighs a total of 13, so we might not get into orbit with this stage, but we'll try and use the RCS to the best of our effect. We have got no RCS on here, actually. I'm glad I caught that minor oversight. We did put RCS thrusters on there, but it's no real use if you don't bring an RCS container with you. That is going to be very vital to getting us into orbit. We might actually want to put some extra thrusters on there then. Like just in the middle here or something. Like we have some over here near the lights. We have some on the bottom here, and then we'll also have some here to help us get additional thrust, etc. And we are now up to 165,000 funds. Thankfully, we do have unlimited power, well, basically unlimited mass and size and height and all that. We are limited by our part count, and we don't have advanced action groups, although you can argue that we don't really need advanced groups with this. Just double checking, we have a pilot on board in the Mark II lander can, which will hopefully detach, and I wanted to reorbit that at some point, so it's probably a good idea to give that a drogue chute, or 4. And a couple of actual parachutes. You know, just as a precautionary measure. Might be good if we want to actually recover the pilot. Which, you know, we just might. We might. You never know. Make sure the staging is all correct. There we go. We are going to lift off into this horrible, suicidal idea, frankly. This is not going to go very well. Now, because we have attached to the 18K container here directly with the decoupler, we are a little bit more stable than our other craft was, which is good. And are we ready? I think we are. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have liftoff ever so slowly. Let's increase the thrust just a little bit. You can see the center of weight is way down here because of all these jumbo fuel tanks. We probably could have attached some more boosters to it to make it go faster. But as it stands, we will have to live with this. We do have some solar panels, so we can use our reaction wheels, etc. to do whatever the hell we want it to do. That will be very useful indeed. But it seems to be going just fine right now. Let's lower our speed a little bit so that we are a little bit more fuel efficient. There we go. Things are going well. 140 meters per second at nearly 5,000 meters altitude. How are these side tanks doing? They're starting to run a little low on fuel. I think we can use a little bit more thrust to get ourselves a little bit higher. There we go. That will be beautiful. Yeah, we're below 1,000 liquid fuel now. We are not going to have any fuel in this stage left whatsoever. And I'd like to keep most of the fuel in here for deorbiting. Although, having said that, it is also remarkably easy to do deorbiting with the actual RCS that we will be carrying. So that is not a major, issue if we run out of fuel on the way there. I half expect us to run out of fuel, I'll be completely honest. There we go, just start a gravity turn. Trying to do this a little bit careful because we're about to ditch our side tanks. As in, right about now. There we go, up the thrust to make sure that we keep going upright. It's a remarkably stable rocket because it is quite tall, which is always nice. There we go, speed is building up nicely. Let's, I don't know, maybe throttle down just a little bit. We do have a lot of thrust in the mainsail, which is exactly the reason why I stuck it on there. There we go, apoapsis of 40k. Things are looking up, that's for sure. And we will actually use the RCS to help us out just a little bit. Who knows, it might help. We're probably going to need all the help we can get to get this into orbit. Might as well start burning it early. ISP is about 240, that's good. We have an apoapsis, so that is excellent. We have a apoapsis above 70k. We always have an apoapsis. I am on point with the commentary today. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to cut the engine out at 90 kilometers altitude. We'll keep burning with the RCS, so that way we'll try to round our orbit with that. Use most of our liquid fuel for the actual orbit itself. There we go. Try and keep up with the rotation of the craft itself. We are not very effective at increasing our apoapsis with it, although, you know, It's only an apoapsis, I'm not gonna really mind too much. As long as we have some monopropellant left for the actual rendezvous, that will be fine. Like, we didn't launch at a perfect time, but then again, that is sort of the hallmark of my rendezvous. I launch at like the worst possible times, and I still manage to somehow make it there. In the end, it just takes a couple of hours or days of waiting. A lot of the time. We'll speed up a little bit. Want to try and get our apoapsis near 100k if we can. But right now, more of it is being put into making the orbit round than actually increasing our apoapsis, which is totally fine. We can always just stick by later, and like it's no big deal. All we need is to stay in a stable orbit. That's the most important part of all. Accidentally nearly throw myself off course there, which would be bad. There we go. We'll start burning quite heavily now, even though we're not quite as effective. We are not. We are almost at our periapsis, but not quite. Like, it doesn't really matter that much. Apoapsis up to 96k. That's good. We'll keep burning so that we don't surpass our apoapsis. Yeah, I was afraid that might happen. Activate the poodle. There we go. Just go full throttle on this beast. Yeah, we do not have the thrust to remain up right now. This is gonna be a little hairy. We are going through our monopropellant quite fast, and our liquid fuel is going even faster, which is annoying. We're nowhere near orbiting just yet. It might not happen. It's probably not gonna happen. Despite how badly I'd like it to be a thing, it is not gonna be a thing. Not with this staging, dear God. Far too little delta V. That upper stage was far heavier than I anticipated. So I will be right back after I do some alterations, and I will see you with the docking procedure. And here we are. We are overshooting quite a bit, but don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Still have plenty of monopropellant here. We have been in space for roughly nearly 2 Kerbal days, actually. We're only slightly overshooting the station, nothing major. So we're not going to be like further than like 200 meters away or anything like that. We got pretty close. Probably should have started decelerating a little quicker, but well. It happens, you know. Just quickly get our vector over here so that we can effectively kill our speed. There we go. Quickly turn off RCS so we can move our craft around without actually affecting our velocity that much. The plan is to attach this on the bottom so that we have like a long strut of space station. I was about to say spaceport, but it's not really a spaceport, is it now? Just using the translation keys right now. There we go. Just keep it slow. Slow and steady is going to win this race. Even though it's not a race. It is, in fact, just pure, unadulterated, awesome science. Which is arguably way better. Just gotta keep in mind that we didn't accidentally, like, hit the station. That would be bad. We don't have to turn the lights on yet. Right, just trying to find our way here. Actually, that is the docking port we want to dock at. It's a little confusing trying to find the right keys, etc. But, I mean, we'll be fine. Right, quick. Now, it's not entirely on center, which is throwing me off a little bit. Okay, I think I got it. I want to burn that one, and then burn that. There we go. It's a little bit confusing, but I got it right now. It'll be fine. We'll attach the module, then we'll detach the lander can. We can deorbit that. That will be wonderful. The thing is, we're coming in at a terrible angle here, which is admittedly my fault. Because of course it is. Honestly, all we have to do is literally just point it at there. We can literally take control from here. Disable RCS. You should help us point straight at him. There we go, and then just hit the gas. Only not a good idea to try anything fancy, just literally hit the gas. We'll rotate the station down just a little bit so that it's actually a lot easier for our incoming module here to make contact and everything. There we go, we are on vector to it. And we are actually roughly looking in the same direction, which is good. Coming in now. Ironically, this is actually probably faster than the speed the International Space Station and things like that use to dock. It is a very slow and precise job. We do have some magnetism here. Or at least we had. No need for lights. We'll switch over to you. There we go. We have attaching. We have attaching. It's happening. Slowly. But surely. They're starting to get magnetic with each other. There we go. Magic is happening. Give it a little bit of helping hand, and there we go. We have attached. We have started constructing the first station around Kerbin, and we have performed a docking maneuver on Kerbin. We have built the orbital station to requirement. That is fantastic. Look at that. This is wonderful. It's a bit vulnerable here, but we can always attach some struts because we have plenty now. There we go, disable that. I want to take away some of your monoprop if we can, that would be great. Now we have our container over here from which we can take everything we need. I'll probably quickly send Bill out actually. Because, dear Bill, we need you to get some struts from here. Like just to be on the safe side. Well, I mean, that's one way to do it, I suppose. I only need like one. I just want to make sure that it's properly connected and stable, which is a very important thing in my opinion. Attach, and now hopefully... Alright, we do need a second one. There we go. Look at that. We are building a strut in flight. So that is good. We have 25 sets of struts, basically. That ought to be more than enough. Like, I just brought them up here and I spent the money I knew the risks getting into it, but I mean, we're gonna keep them here anyway, and if we're gonna bring stuff into the station, we might as well keep it safe. There we go. I'd reckon that's enough for today. Safely secured the station, so it won't go around wobbling like any of our large crazy craft have a tendency to do in Kerbal Space Program. You know how it goes. Now, Bill, being a pro, doesn't need the tools from the station. He's got his own. Yeah, we don't really need anything else right now. You can get me an EVA report from the lab. Speaking of labs, we'll have to take a look at them next, because we haven't taken a look at the lab yet. And now that we're in a stable orbit, on a stable space station, I feel it's about time we did. So, let's take a look at our cupola over here. Let's take a crew report. Process data in the lab. 6 data is 30 science. Time with 6 data is 74 days. So the lab is going to continue to generate a little bit of science every day. And the more data you have, the more science you get, and the better scientists, the faster they do it, I believe. So we will put an EVA report in there as well. Another one. And temperature scan in space near Kerbin. And atmospheric pressure scan while in Kerbin. Now we have 41 data, getting us half a science per day. Lab already has this data. Just discard it then. We should also have our lab here. I forgot to do it in flight, so we only have one from space and one from the process in the lab. So yeah, I don't think it actually what's the word I'm looking for here? It actually uses the science itself, which is okay. We can also start cleaning experiments from the lab, so we can clean multiple things with a single button press. It's gonna take them a little while, but you know, it's not bad. We're now getting 1 science per day with 84 data. So generally, if you go to the moon or something, you want to get them samples in there, you want to get them working on that, and they will start generating science for you on a daily basis. You can store up to 500 science in this science lab, and then you can transmit it back home. For science. Literally. Observe the bay. We're gonna keep this, and we'll probably bring it home at some point. Speaking of, we could probably recover that with our rookie pilot here. Hatch is obstructed, can't exit. Yeah, we sort of put a parachute over there. That is a minor oversight. Bill, I'm gonna need you to do me a solid here. Collect the data. Restore the thing. Fold the bays back in. There we go. Now we have the data from that. That is all well and good. Store experiments. There we go. I like this so much. Just getting to the fun stage now. Messing around with things in Kerbal Space Program. Like we should be. Let's see, Bob, you were a scientist, weren't you? Yeah, you need to get back in your lab, buddy. Don't float off again, that would be a shame. There is actually one thing left we need to do. Rename the vessel. It's going to be a station. It will be the LKO for a low Kerbin orbit. LKO Station of Valentina. After a certain Kerbal who perished, never even managing to reach orbit, but still treasured in our minds forever. Let us start research in honor of Valentina. Good stuff. Now, I'm going to end the episode here. We've got our space station orbit. We've got space for people to dock. We have a little bit of liquid fuel left. We can go ahead and quickly take this down, I suppose. You're already there, so we'll reset you. Any new stuff you can get, Bob? Actually, you can. Good, and we have 0.002 science. We'll get a little bit of data extra in there. There we go. But yeah, I'm going to end the episode here. In between episodes, I'll deorbit this. It's going to go fine. Nothing to worry about there. And I'll see you all next time when we maybe send a module up here. Or we can go back to the moon or Minmus. Like, we've got contracts there. So I don't know what we're going to do yet. And it's going to be fun. We might just send out a ship that will use these rover parts for some nefarious gains or something. We'll have to send Bill along if we do. Oh, we have another report here. Sweet. Extra science. Just look at that. 1.4 science per day. Valentina would be proud. But yeah. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like down below. It really does help out a lot. And it shows me that KSP is a series you enjoy a lot. And if you have anything to say, do leave a comment down below. If you want to see more, why not subscribe? Anyway. Until next time, have a good one, folks.